This is Marty Stewart with SeminarSecrets.com. You can hear the complete version of this big seminar interview by going to www.SeminarSecrets.com.
First thing I'd like to do is welcome everyone to the Big Seminar Preview Series. My name is Armand Morin, and tonight's call we're going to be talking with Bruce Safran, and Bruce is going to be talking about many different subjects tonight on the call. There's a couple subjects that he doesn't know he's going to be talking about, but I'm going to spring that on him at the most opportune time. But because there's a couple things I think that I want people to know about that Bruce knows on this call.
I love surprises.
There's a couple surprises, I know, and I know Bruce is well able to handle that tonight on the call. But you know, the reason why we're doing these calls, and many people have asked me questions and have asked other people questions regarding the purpose and why are we doing this, and what about the information? Why are we sharing all this openly, and why aren't we charging for this? Well, this is all part of our Big Seminar Preview Series that we're having in Orlando. Not the preview series, but the actual seminar that we're having in Orlando. In March 19th, 20th, and 21st. It's just a short time, literally just around the corner. And at that seminar, we have some of the brightest minds on the Internet today. And just in general marketing, we have people like Mark Victor Hansen, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul, sold 80 million copies. You may have also known his other book that he's recently put out, and it's also hit the Amazon bestseller list as well as New York Times bestseller list, which is 1 Minute Millionaire, and he did that with Robert Allen. Mark's going to be there live at the seminar. We're also going to be having Alex Mondosian, Yannick Silver, David Garfinkel, who's actually on this call as well, too. We have Fred Gleek, John Childers, the man who has literally trained most of the well-known marketers on the Internet today. A person that I've gotten to know recently very well is going to be there, and I'm very happy to have him there. We're going to have Stephen Pierce. Stephen Pierce is going to be on the call, not only on the call, but he's going to be at the seminar with us. Just a huge number of people. Alexandria Brown, Jimmy D. Brown, Michael Fortin, one of the world's greatest copywriters, is going to be with us at the seminar, and we're going to be teaching you for 3 full days how to build a successful Internet business, what to do. Some of you probably have websites right now. Let's face it. You have websites, and there's some of you on this call that are making money on those websites. Some of you maybe aren't making any money on the Internet. We were all at that same point. I was at the point of each and every one of you on this call at some point in my Internet career. And, things are confusing. Things are just very hectic, and you don't know which way to go because one person says this, another person says that. And I've always asked myself one question, and this kind of made everything very clear to me, and that is this person doing this themselves? That's the question. Are they doing this? Are they making money online? And if they are, they can show me, because if a person has never done what they're talking about, it doesn't make sense for me to listen to it, and I'm just wasting my time, and I'm certainly wasting my money, and I'm wasting my energy, listening to that person. So what I've done is I've made sure the people at our seminar are the best, that are making money doing what they're saying, and I'm bringing them together for 3 full days to show you how to do the same. It's been said many times that there really are no secrets on the Internet. Well, everything's a secret unless someone explains to you what it is, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to reveal all at the Internet. Some strategies are going to be brand new. I can tell you this, one of the things that I'm talking about at the Internet, at the big seminar about the Internet, is something that no one's ever talked about before, meaning I'm going to show people how to drive traffic to a site, which is something I don't talk about. Because on the website, on the Big Seminar website, if you read that, that talks about me driving 300,000 people to my sites in a single month. Well, I have to make a confession, and that is I lied, because I'm doing about 750,000 now since the time I wrote that sales letter. But I'm going to tell people how to do the same. It's not complicated. It's not hard, and I can actually show you how to do it. And anyone can do it. I've taught several people recently, and they're doing the same thing. I'm going to show you how to make money with that too. But there's going to be all kinds of secrets that are revealed at the internet at the big seminar for the first time, and we're going to talk all about them. But tonight's call is part of the preview series to introduce you to each one of our speakers, and that's why we've been doing these calls. One thing I want to mention before I do introduce Bruce is that keep this in the back of your mind throughout the call, because I'll talk more about it later. But on Sunday at midnight is the last day for the two-payment program that we have. Right now we have an opportunity for people to make two payments, which means we'll split up the cost and we'll allow you to make two payments to come to our seminar. And that's going to end at Sunday at midnight. There is no exceptions. You can't go past, and that's midnight Eastern Time. At midnight Eastern Time, that will be changed. It will be gone, and we can't do anything about it. It's just the way my payment processor actually works. And in this way, you'll have your payment, your last payment, right before, actually on March, whatever date. If you did it today, it would be March 12th. If you did it on Sunday, it would be March 15th. It would be your final payment. But we made it really easy for you to come to the seminar. You can find out more details about that on the link that you were sent when you did sign up for this call tonight. So we'll talk more about that later, and we'll tell you more about the seminar later. But tonight's call, I want to talk with you about many different subjects, but the person I want to talk with tonight is Bruce Safran. And many of you may have heard of Bruce. Bruce is an intellectual property attorney. He's been specializing in the Internet for quite some time. A couple products that you may have heard of. Well, one in particular I want to talk about real quick, and that is AutoWeb Law. The AutoWeb Law product, I can tell you this, if you don't have it, you need to have it. You need to get it. I use it all the time. Anything, if I sell a product with resale rights, I just open up my AutoWeb Law, fill in a couple blanks, and boom, it's out comes a piece of what the form that I need to put with that product. It's very simple. It's easy to do. It doesn't take much time, and again, you actually need it for your business, so I suggest you do that. You can go to AutoWebLaw.com and actually grab that product. But this really isn't a commercial. We want to talk to Bruce. So, Bruce, I'd like to welcome you to the call.
Welcome, Armand. Thank you.
Well, Bruce, I know you. Let's talk about this because we're going to get into many different subjects, like I said earlier on the call. But let's start off with this. I mean, prior to you getting involved on the Internet, what did you do? I mean, what's your history?
Sure. I've always been an entrepreneur. Actually, started when I was a young boy in grade school. But basically, I'll give you a little bit of a history. After graduating from college, I went to work for Xerox, and at that time, that was 1967. Xerox and IBM were the two premier companies. If you wanted to learn how to sell product, you'd go through Xerox or IBM training school. And I worked for Xerox, and at that time, I decided that I wanted to go to law school in addition, and I went to law school in addition, and put myself through law school selling public domain products, believe it or not. I didn't know that they were public domain products at the time, but I would sell a product called Great Books of the Western World that was published by Encyclopedia Britannica, and I was making myself a lot of money. I graduated from law school and started my own business as an attorney. Grew that business to a very substantial business. I had about a dozen employees, 5 attorneys, and decided when about 10 years into it that I wanted to get involved in financial area, and I went to Wall Street basically. And as a result of my experience at Wall Street, I ended up starting several businesses. One business while I was involved, that was back in 1986, which is still a successful business today. I was the founder of it and the visionary behind it, and I'm a major shareholder in it now. And then in 1999, I decided that I wanted to participate in the dot-com revolution or industry, and was able to raise $30 million for a dot-com idea that I came up with, put together a team, and we raised $500,000 in seed money because we had a very interesting concept, one that was workable, and then raised $30 million in venture capital money.
You know, I have a lot of ideas, Bruce. You know that.
Oh, well, you know, just send them over. We'll see what we can do with them.
So what happened is you came out of law school, you started into business, you did the whole, let's say, corporate thing,
right?
So to say.
Yes.
You've done it to an extent. You're extremely successful at doing that, and then it came full circle. Basically as you came into the internet, you raised some capital for some venture capital for a product, an idea that was had, a few years back, and now and tell me if I'm right. Then you kind of made the twist. You started looking at a different area of business on the internet, meaning more, and let's call it, for lack of a better word, the Soho business.
Yeah, that is right. I'm always interested. I've always been interested in computers, and I've always been ahead of the curve in terms of technology. Like you, I love technology. I saw opportunities there, and I decided that the internet business had just tremendous opportunities, which we all know it does. It has a lot of risks, primarily because people don't treat their business on the internet like a business. And coming from a business background, an offline business background, I understand how important it is to treat any business like a business. The internet business has no barriers to entry. That concept I've dealt with over the years when I've looked at advised people or have gotten involved in my own businesses. There's always the concept of barrier to entry, how you're going to get in. Oftentimes it takes a lot of finances to get into a particular business and to continue to run it, and that's a barrier to entry. But with the internet business in general, there's no barrier to entry. Anybody can have an idea, be an affiliate, let's say, even for a product. They don't have to create their own product, stick up a website, and they're off and running and bringing in income. The problem with that, the downside to that, is that people forget that this is a business and they don't have any strategic plan as to how all the pieces fit together so that they're going to create a business that's not only going to create income, a good stream of income immediately, but down the line it's going to create wealth if you structure it right and you treat it like a business.
That's it's something I've been thinking about lately, and it was because of something that you had said. And I've been saying this on a couple different calls, and that was, and that the strategy is that most people, when they're starting their business, they're essentially just trading a job for another job.
That's right.
I mean, the idea was to create a business that would free up their time and replace the income or exceed the income, hopefully, than what they were previously making. And but yet, what happened is they're still working. The days, the hours, and more often more hours than what they previously did, except they feel better about it because they're working for themselves. But ultimately, they're still trading time for dollars.
Exactly, and they're giving up a lot of quality of life, and that's very important. You can have both if you know how to structure it right, and if you have a plan. So, for example, a lot of people on this call, I'm sure, are married. They have kids. And I know that when I was in any of my businesses, I created and structured my business so that I could go to the baseball games with my son. I could go to the ballet recitals with my daughter. I didn't have to come late and leave early because I had to run back to the business because the business couldn't run without me. And that was something that was very, very, very important for me because I had a father that was very successful. He had an offline, of course, business. He was in the furniture business. It was he and his brother, and he worked 24/7. So I remember painfully going to Little League games, and, of course, my friend's father was the coach of the Little League team, and not only wasn't my father a coach or an assistant coach, but he didn't even show up.
One of the things that that I was been trying to figure out lately, more and more, and I think it's because I'm getting a little older, and that is how do I remove myself from the business, meaning that it will come a day where I will not be here. what happens to my business? And when you pose that question to yourself, in most online businesses, the answer is usually the same, and that is the money stops.
That's right.
When you take that key person out of the equation, everything stops. I mean, so slowly by slowly, I know this is my own personal case, is that I've been looking at ways to, okay, how can I just replace the knowledge that I know and pass that on to someone, whether it be my wife, my children, or whomever.
Right, and if you know how to develop the systems that basically run on autopilot, then you can do it. And I'll give you an example of Ray Kroc and McDonald's, although that's way outside of the internet area and way outside of people's experience here in terms of running their business. But there is a very good analogy that can be made in terms of how Ray Kroc ran his business and how you need to run your internet business. And he ran this business as a franchise, thinking it was a franchise before he even franchised it, which meant that he created the systems that he put in place so that anybody could run the McDonald's. The hamburgers came out identical every time. The French fries were were cut exactly the way where they were supposed to be cut. They were put in the oil with the amount of degrees exactly from store to store to store, and he's got like 28,000 stores, and they run like clockwork. And that's a very good model to take a look at in terms of how you want, what you need to do. One of the things, at least, you need to do to get to where you want to get to, Armand, in terms of pulling out of your business and letting your business run on autopilot.
And that's, I just want to take a side note here and just let people know. Some of you may be wondering, what does this topic, or what are we talking about? What does that have to do with me? And what does that have to do with my internet business? Well, folks, just listen to what we're saying, because what people don't do is they don't think about what happens when they get into business. They don't think about the actual strategy behind it and what's the purpose. Where, if you take what we're talking about, and we've only covered just a few things here, but start thinking to yourself, start asking yourself those questions right now. And if you take yourself out of the equation in your business right now, what's going to happen to your business? Just ask yourself that one question, much less anything else that we've talked about since. But just ask yourself that one question, and you'll see very quickly why we're telling you this, is that what Bruce has just told us is talk about developing systems to enable us to put ourselves out of a job, essentially, if that makes sense to you.
Sounds good to me.
You want to put yourself out of a job. You do not need to be required in your business, because if you do, then you might as well just be a one-person operation, and you'll never essentially retire from your job. You will always have to be there up until the day that you go away.
Exactly. Actually, here's what happens. If you have a labor-intensive business, it really limits what else you as a business owner can do. And as opposed to a business that runs itself, it allows a business owner to create more businesses and more wealth. So if you're involved with the minutia of the everyday business, if you're working in your business more than working on your business, it's going to limit you in terms of how you can expand, because there's only so many hours in the day. And if you have a system, then you can maximize your time, and then the business can run itself. And there is a corollary to that, and that's the back end, Armand, and that is that if a business runs itself, that means anybody can run the business. That means the business has value and worth, which means that you can eventually sell that business to someone else and then create wealth. Because in the United States, there's only a few ways to create wealth. A lot of people talk about creating wealth through real estate, and yes, you can create wealth through real estate, but truly, the real wealth that was created in this country was created through selling businesses. And not only wealth, but once you create that wealth, then you have options and opportunities to have the lifestyle.
You have just listened to a portion of this Big Seminar interview. To get the complete version, simply go to www.seminarsecrets.com. Find out how you can attend the next Internet Marketing Big Seminar. And for a very special offer you can't refuse, visit www.seminarsecrets.com.